This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Caroline, you should tell them about the newest thing that Bloody Happy Hour is doing.
A Patreon.
It's a Patreon. What is that?
That means you're basically like a VIP member, and you get some perks. You maybe get like merch a little earlier. You get
Exclusive merch.
You could get first dibs on signing up for a live show. You get episodes with no commercials.
You get our video because our video is no longer available on YouTube. It is only on Patreon. And the most important to me is you get videos of our live shows, but also bonus episodes each month. But if you're on a Patreon, you're VIP, you're going to get more.
Because I always have a lot of details I want to go to. I can law-splain. I might read a book.
This is also going to be the exclusive place that Dirty Chat is going to go to. In order to hear the full content, it's going to be Patreon. Where do they go again?
Patreon.com/BloodyHappyHour.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And
This is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
This is Bloody Happy Hour Tuesday edition. And this is when we just tell you guys what's in the news.
There's a lot going on.
There is, but I'm only talking about like one or two because it's a big story.
It's a big story. It is, yeah.
First of all, shout out to our newest Patreon people, Heather B. Shout out to Heather, Julie S, and Cheryl, Fangirl Cheryl. They have access to see not only the live show, all the videos that we've posted. When we record, we're also videoing the bonus episode that I put out 2 weeks ago. And then the bonus episode that's going to come out soon. Dirty Chad that's about to come out. But also, I made a trip to Abilene last week and visited the house of Paris Bennett. It was so easy to find. It was literally like around the corner from where my son lives.
Oh. Well, and did you see that I posted finally from when I went to Vegas 2 years ago and went and looked at the Mandalay Bay shooting?
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I posted a video of my sister and I going and finding the room.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. And so we're going to do that. When we go and sightsee, I have a trip to Tulsa next weekend, I believe. I'm going to give you 3 guesses of what concert I'm going to. But you got to go back to the 90s.
I was going to say it's either a country music or...
It is. Back to the 90s, though. And it was Sweet Pea's idea.
I don't know.
Dixie Chicks.
Oh, excuse me. You mean the Chicks?
The Chicks, yes. The Chicks.
My favorite song is Goodbye, Earl.
Yes. So, of course, I'll do some, sightseeing. And when I say sightseeing, I mean murder sightseeing.
Oh, yeah.
And you Patreon people will be able to see where I go. Okay, that's all we have. Let's get it going.
Oh, let's get it going. Yeah, we got a good story coming up.
Yeah, yes. And I'm sure you're going to know all about it, too. But first, before I get to the main story, is I just saw a little bit about the submersible, as if my panic for that was like just now going away. And then they reported saying that they knew something was wrong for about 48 to 71 seconds, like where the submersible was like plunging down.
They were probably on top of each other.
They were, yeah. like piled up probably on top of each other because it was in a vertical position. Of course, lights were out, like nothing was going. So that panic, even for 48 seconds or for 71 seconds, it probably seemed like forever. And then is when they went down and imploded. But like 48 seconds of terror in darkness, in the water, and you're just plunging down.
Terrible.
What do you think?
I guess it's kind of what you would think if you were like in a plane crash.
Yeah.
Like you.
What would you do?
Well, I think your life flashes before your eyes, and you try to you can't even use your phone either way. So you probably like poop your pants, and then you go to sleep.
Then you're gone. I hope that they were praying.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like I hope even if they weren't believers, that they became believers really quick.
I just think, what do you think? And you're like, I mean, hopefully they didn't feel anything. I mean,
yeah. Oh, that just got to me, and I saw that right before I got here. So 48 seconds of pure terror.
Lovely.
Okay, let's go to Houston, Texas with this missing teen. And I know you guys have seen it. Rudy Farias. And so I'll just kind of tell how it started, where it is now, chime in. We're going to listen to a little bit of a video. March 6, 2015, 17-year-old Rudy Farias, however you want to say it, goes to walk his dogs. And his mother later says that the dogs returned, but he did not. So she calls the police. There's a missing persons report. She pleads with the public. She even hires a private investigator to help her find her son. Even Tim Miller with EquiSearch was part of the search to find Rudy, which we've heard Tim Miller's name in a ton of other cases that we've talked about because he's always part of the search for either somebody missing or the dead body or whatever it may be. They could find Rudy nowhere. And then really not much happened until June 29th, 2023. 8 years later, Rudy turns up in Houston still, outside of a church. He was bloody, he was cut, he was bruised, and he was sleeping outside of this church. And when police interviewed him, he believed he was a 14-year-old boy. I saw one place that he said his name was Dolph, and I saw another place where he said it was Julio. So is it Julio Dolph or was it Dolph? Whatever it may be. He was saying he was a 14-year-old boy. At this time, he would have been 25 years old. Okay. His mother publicly rejoiced and thanked the Good Samaritan that found him. She said when Rudy had been found and missing after all these years, he was beaten, he was abused, he was confused. He thought he was a 14-year-old boy and that he was also nonverbal and cannot communicate for himself at this time. This is his mother, Janie, when she was speaking out. But also family members were also coming forward, and they were like, this bitch is a compulsive liar. They have made reports where they have seen Rudy throughout the years, have called the police, but it really went nowhere. So, like, he was seen behind a house or something. They called the police, but he was already gone and hidden.
And now a word from our sponsors.
All right, if you love smoothies or if you love your protein in the morning, you need to get you a Blend Jet. You can do that if going to blendjet.com. If you enter the code BHH12, you get a discount. And let me tell you, these things are portable. They are easy to use. They can fit in your cup holder. You can have it at home or you can have it in your office like I do. Right this morning, I had my blueberry banana one
How was
with
it?
some chia seed.
Wasn't chunky or anything?
It was very smooth. When I have it in my shaker, it is a little chunky. So this is a great alternative.
I love it.
It is battery powered, so all you have to do is plug it in every 2 weeks, and the battery never runs down.
Oh my gosh. I love battery powered things.
Go to BlendJets and order you a BlendJet and get a discount.
Thanks, April, for sharing.
Did you know you could be putting oil and chemicals in your coffee? I love coffee creamer, but I don't think I've ever turned the bottle around to actually see what's inside. When I did, I found out many of my favorite creamers contain ingredients I would never intentionally add to my coffee cup, like canola oil, dipotassium phosphate, ew, and artificial flavors. Laird Superfood all started when big wave surfer Laird Hamilton needed morning fuel that could allow him to spend the entire day chasing the ultimate wave. He couldn't find anything in the market that met his ingredient standards, so made himself the ultimate plant-based creamer. Laird Superfood started and launched its first product, Original Superfood Creamer, in 2015. Laird Superfoods contain no artificial flavors, colors, or additives, and no sugars from highly refined corn syrup. All Laird products are sustainably sourced and thoroughly tested to ensure that you're incorporating the cleanest, finest fuel into your routine. All Laird products are also made of all-natural whole food ingredients, and they are crafted from the highest quality all-natural real food ingredients. Are you ready to feel more energized, focused, and supported? Go to lairdsuperfood.com and add nourishing plant-based foods to fuel you from sunrise to sunset. Use our promo code BOO at checkout to save 15% off your purchase today.
Also, neighbors came forward and said, Rudy, we see Rudy all the time. He comes and talks to us when we're fiddling in our garage. And so the mother was like, no, they're mistaking. That's my nephew. And so they showed pictures of nephew. They showed pictures of Rudy. And neighbors were like, no, Rudy, we know what we're talking about. And so now it was coming out that Rudy was actually never missing this whole 8 years, that his mom made it all up. So then why?
I wonder why.
We got some speculations. So when all this kind of started, Janie, the mama, called on community leader, activist, counselor Quanell X. And he's been a part of other big cases around there. He's in the Houston area. So he was in the room. They were at like this big hotel in Houston. He was in the room with the investigators, some family members, Rudy, and Rudy's mother. And so Rudy's mother was trying to speak for Rudy because, you know, Rudy's nonverbal.
Yeah, Rudy's nonverbal. Yeah.
Until Rudy says, hey, I know you. You're that ex guy. And so Quanell was like, doesn't sound nonverbal to me.
Sounds pretty verbal.
And then Quanell, he ended up taking a liking to Quanell. And so Quanell was like, I would like to, can I talk to you for a little bit? And so Rudy actually took his hand and they had a little interview. Now, during this interview, it was not just Quanell and Rudy. It's Quanell, some investigators. It was being recorded and videotaped. But Janie, the mama, was asked to leave the room. She interrupted every 3 to 5 minutes. Is he having a panic attack? I'm so worried about him. Is he having a panic attack yet? He's going to have an anxiety attack. I just need to take him home. I need to take him home. The police were going to let her take him home.
Yeah, they sure were.
And Quanell was like, wait a minute. First she said he's nonverbal and he's speaking. She's saying he's going to have a panic attack, but he's real calm, cool, and collect. And he voiced with his own words that he would like to speak. Why wouldn't we let the boy speak? So Quanell's having to tell these police how to do their job. Sounds like.
Yes.
Sounds like. So, he claimed that Rudy said during this interview that he left because he was tired of being a slave at home, that he wanted to be free, that his mom made him assume the identity of somebody else, his nephew, and said that if he did leave, that he would get in trouble because he ran away a long time ago and that he was a missing person. So she kind of brainwashed him in the beginning saying, if you leave, you're going to get arrested. So you might as well just not leave. But he was just fed up with it. So he decided to steal her car and her credit card. And he ran away, but wrecked the car. And then that's when he was found on the church steps sleeping. He also said that years ago on March 6th or whatever date that was, he did run away, but he came back 2 days later. So he was only missing for 2 days. She kept all this up for 8 freaking years. But that's not all he said in this interview. So let me play something.
It's so bad.
He said to us, she was drugging the hell out this kid. And she convinced him that he was in trouble for initially running away. She would ask him to play daddy. She told him that he had to be the husband. She would force him to sleep in the bed with her.
Go to part 2 if you want to see.
I heard horrific things from that young man. No child should ever be treated like that by your own mother. This young man said that when he initially ran away, he came back 2 days later, and she told him that he had to hide, that he was going to get in trouble, and they were going to arrest him for running away, and that he had to continue hiding. And so she hid him out for a while, then brought him back to the house and hid him in the home. And initially, whenever the investigators would come, she would hide him in the house. And he kept saying, I don't want her to go to prison. I don't want her to get in trouble. I don't want her to go to jail. And so we asked him, why did you run away? And he said he just got tired of her not respecting his boundaries. And she said that he wanted his own life. And his exact word was, I was tired of living like a slave. She would take him to work with her, and he would do the required work she was supposed to do. And a lot of the responsibilities of her job was on him. And he went on to say that what troubled him the most was her crossing his personal space boundaries. He said that she would make him sleep in the bed with her. And he said that she made him play daddy. He said that he didn't like getting in the bed with her. That he would try to sneak out of the bed and sometimes hide under the bed, but she told him he had to be her husband. Said she was the one providing drugs to him for years. Hallucination drugs, mushrooms, etc. And that the reason why he was left, he was just tired of her crossing his boundaries. When he would shower, she would come and pull the shower curtain back and stare at him, and then she would make him bathe her with the soap. And he ran away this time because he was tired. He would say one word to anybody, like he was petrified. But the minute he got alone by himself, he slowly calmed down, and he slowly began to talk very coherently and specific details. I honestly believe, based on what he said to us, she was drugging the hell out this kid.
And now a word from our sponsors.
I'm your puzzle pal, and I'm going to tell you about my latest obsession, Wongo puzzles. These things are the real deal, folks. They're high quality, handcrafted, and perfect for anyone who loves a good challenge, but doesn't want to dedicate their entire kitchen table to puzzles for a week. Trust me, I've been there. I might still be there. But I got one of these actually for Christmas. I loved it. I did it, and I was so proud of myself. And they have all these cool designs, and you need to go to wongopuzzles.com and use our discount, BHH. You get 10% off, and I really want to know if you'll order one of these puzzles, what'd you think about it? Because it's so fun, and I need to order like 5.
Cure hydration. If you are obsessed with your hydration like I am, this may be something good for you. This is something that is so easy. Forget about the Gatorade. That just dehydrates you even more. And if you don't like the taste of coconut water, try Cure Hydration. You can go to my offer link. It is zen.ai/BHH20. This is vegan. It's no added sugars. It's just a little packet you could put in your water. Or if you're really smart during happy hour, you could put it into your Tito's. It is just as effective as an IV drip. And if you do not like the taste of water, it's not as boring as water, not as sugary as the sports drink. And if you're an athlete, it'll give you the best performance. Or if you just get brain fog or headaches because you do not stay hydrated.
Brain frog?
Brain fog.
I get
The
brain
solution is Cure Hydration. So go to that link, enter the code. You can go to my offer link. It is zen.ai/BHH20. Cure Hydration. So what the craziness is this was all released first. So after the interview, Quanell asked the police, is there anything you want me to refrain from saying so that I do not jeopardize the investigation? 3 times he asked them, and they told him no. So he's going to get on and he tells all this. So that, of course, goes viral. And then I think it's the next day or later that day, it was July 6th, the police do their press conference. Houston police do their press conference. And they say nothing about sexual abuse, harassment, and basically there's no charges being brought because the worst that has happened is that she filed a false missing person report, and that is no different than a traffic citation.
Because he's an adult.
Yes.
That's what they said.
So it's like, did they, what they heard, because, 2 people can hear the same thing and take it a different way. So when Quanell was hearing it like he was saying, I have a 17-year-old son. So he was like imagining it as a father. And so it brought him to tears. He told them that kid's life is in danger, but the police heard it as like he was a willing victim and wanted to do this to his mom. I don't understand. And then it goes to the male versus female sexual abuse victim, right? People don't tend to take a male victim as seriously as they would a female victim. So they didn't do Joseph Fritzl's daughter like this.
No. Oh, yeah. No.
They didn't question. They didn't say she was a grown adult and slept with him on her own.
How did he go to work with her?
I don't know. There's no telling where they work.
I know.
But see, they had moved many times, and Houston is big.
Well, like in his family and her sisters are like, she needs to be arrested, blah, blah. Like they totally agree with Quantel X. And but then some people have started to come out and say, oh, that he's just money hungry and he's just trying to get paid, and that's why he's saying all this stuff and he's making it up. And the police are just saying, oh, this is nothing. Like he's just like you said, willing, and there's no arrest. No arrest. They're like, oh yeah, maybe you should drug test them or something.
Drug test them? Quanell did threaten to put the video out there. Like he was like, I believe this.
Put it out there.
Yeah, because obviously it was recorded.
Yeah.
So he was like, the next steps is that we will put that video out there. He also said that the family called on me. I didn't go to them. They called on me, and then Rudy took to him. So it showed like a picture of Rudy in his Mercedes Jeep because he liked cars or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like he built the relationship with them, is like he let Rudy sit in his car and turn on the engine and stuff, and then kind of trusted him. So here's the speculations that I've seen that are out there, and you add some if you've heard some more. In 2011, the father, so Rudy's dad, Janie's husband at the time, was a cop, a Houston PD cop, and he was fired after internal affair review. There was some sketchy stuff going down. He was publicly fired, and he committed suicide the next day. Mm-hmm. So there's some trauma that Rudy and his family went through. In 2014, his older brother was killed in a motorcycle accident. But according to family members, that Rudy was the beneficiary to the older brother's life insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
When he ran away at 17, he came back 2 days later. So was she trapping him to make sure he was not able to leave again so that she had access to that life insurance policy? Because when you get money like that as a minor, you don't get it until you're 18. It's like put in a trust and it's managed by a lawyer or whatever. So did she want to make sure that he was there till he was 18? One of the speculations. Another family member came forward and said that she had a life insurance policy out on Rudy, and that she didn't want to kill him, but if he stayed missing for 3 years, she could declare him dead and get that life insurance policy. And so that family member was trying to figure out, had that been done, or had she tried to get the wheels turning for that to be done.
Oh, for sure.
And then before he went missing, he was supposed to testify in some type of criminal trial as like a star witness. I don't know what crime it was. I don't know who the criminal. I couldn't find anything of what type of trial this was.
It's like all of this humongous pile of information just came out within a couple of days, and it was like, what?
Yeah.
Because first, I didn't even know about the story. I didn't know this kid was missing. I just kept seeing like, oh, there was this kid who was missing for 8 years, and he's all of a sudden found, and then he was a slave, and then this Quantel X interview came out, and then the family started talking, like her sister started talking, and then the police did conference. I mean, and it was just like overload.
An ex-husband just came out saying that his marriage to her was annulled because he found out that she was still married to but it could have been 5 other guys. So she was arrested or charged with bigamy. Is it bigamy? Where you are married to multiple people at the same time. So she's had at least 5 husbands.
Ew.
Or
and have you seen her? Oh my gosh, it's disgusting. Imagine what they look like.
So, he was good looking, this guy. He was good looking.
That's your elbow banging.
Yeah. I'm hearing it. He was good looking.
I didn't realize that he was found at this church. Like now, I thought that was a couple years ago, but that was in 2020. Like that was
on June 29th. He was found at the church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 miles from his house.
Yeah, he was seen a couple of times, spotted by people a couple of times in between, like by family, and they reported. But the police didn't really follow. They didn't have like evidence that it was actually him.
And like I think that they both had fake names from her making it up. Mom said that his name was Julio
Dolph.
But Dolph comes from Rudolph.
Yeah. So there was.
She said that he was Julio Torres and that he was 14 years old. Or maybe he said, but that's who.
But he was very baby. So they said he was very childlike.
Well, I mean, has he even been to school?
No. Well, I mean, he went through school. He didn't go missing until he was 17. So she probably kept him in the house and babied him and did whatever else to him, scared him, and then rewarded him with things like, here, I'll teach you how to drive if you do this. So that's how he knew how to drive, but obviously not very well if he crashed the car.
And why would this Quantel X, why would he just make this stuff up?
Yeah, and he has been on a lot of other cases, and he only gets called in if the family wants him. Like if the family thinks that maybe they're going to be treated unfairly, or if they want somebody communicating with them. He's got plenty of money, and he's already a known person. So it's not for fame.
Then why are the police covering up?
I don't know. I always think ego.
I thought it had something to do with the dad that killed himself. But if he was on bad terms with the police, then
He would already been fired.
right.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if there was some reason why I feel like they were like talking, but why would they just not even do anything about it? It's like they're like, oh, he's making it up. Bye.
I always just think that, like, if somebody is finding out more information than they are,
That's
then
true.
it makes them look
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
So then they have to
Yeah.
cover their own ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they may come out with it later, but they want to come out with it in their own way after.
It's so bad.
I don't know.
I can't believe he's 25 now.
25.
And he's just been there. Oh. Especially if he's been drugged. I mean, like, what? I don't know. It's all so weird.
Yeah, I mean, you can do a drug test, but does that prove that you were taking the drugs without your will?
Well, I mean, how would he get them? He doesn't have a job, so obviously somebody's buying it for him.
Right, but does that mean that you willingly ingested it?
Oh, that's
or, true. You were forced to ingest it? I don't know. I can see how it'd be a hard case to prove, and I can see how it can be torn up in court of what all she really did is file a missing persons report.
Watch, this will go nowhere.
I listened to an Australian podcast, and they're talking about it, so it is national.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's everywhere. So that's it. That's all my news. I spent all the time on Rudy because it just went deep, and so we're going to follow it. I think at one point he was with his mom. So when the police had their conference on July 6th, he was with his mom. But since then, he is with other family members like aunts and other family members and is allegedly safe now. And Janie is not speaking.
Oh, he is with the family now? Oh,
with other family and not Janie. So there we go. There's your news.
There is your news. I was thinking I had something else, but no.
Okay.
Perfect.
We will see y'all Thursday for the full episode. Go to Patreon, subscribe, go rate us, review us, and subscribe to us. And don't forget to
Stay aware.
stay alive.
And always be DTF.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Everybody has a story worth telling. I'm Corey Duncan. On Best Story Ever, I take guests that you know through their most unique and captivating stories. The best part? I hear the story for the first time when you do. Everyone has a story. What's yours? Find Best Story Ever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Hola, yo soy Jackie.
Y yo soy Jessica.
Y esto es Zona del Crimen. Un podcast donde hablaremos sobre casos de crímenes reales
y eventos impactantes que han quedado marcados a través del tiempo. Recuerden que nos pueden seguir en Facebook, Instagram
o donde escuches tus podcasts favoritos.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. You can find us on Instagram at bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those two also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
Hi, and welcome to Bustles and Bangers with your hostess, Rachel and Christopher.
I love it when you say my name.
and you didn't say hi.
I didn't. You just kept going. I'm going to introduce the book. I'm not reading it.
It's
because I don't like reading.
Girls like cowboy butts, and those jeans don't hide anything. Find us on Instagram at Bustles and Bangers or on RogueMediaNetwork.com.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.